Oh, hello there, and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. I'm Frank Foster, your host, and our mission here is, well, to explain every military award from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and even the Merchant Marine if you want us to. So, let's get started. Welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. I'm Frank Foster, an old soldier and author of a number of books on military awards. And one of the most frequent questions that I get from families is, how do I put together a display of the military awards that my veteran won? In this particular case, the family had no idea of their veterans' medals. And there's a very good reason for that, and let me show you why. One of the reasons you don't see a lot of World War II displays in veterans' families is because when the veterans came home, they didn't receive any campaign or service medals. They weren't available. They hadn't been designed, and quite honestly, most all of the brass had been diverted to the making of ammunition. So when a veteran came home, what he received for his awards were ribbon bars. And here's a couple of interesting examples. This is a World War II 3rd Armored Division veteran. He has the Combat Infantry Badge. He has the American Defense, American Campaign, and whoa, this is odd, he has 2 American campaigns, 1 Pacific Theater and 1 Victory Medal. So his ribbons don't really make sense, and that's because at that time, just like on this Army Air Force, this airman had a Purple Heart, a Good Conduct Medal. The Air Force belonged to the Army at that time, so they used the Army Good Conduct Medal. And he has the European Theater of Operations Medal, or ribbon. But he doesn't have the Victory Medal or the Occupation Medal. Time out for just a second. I want to take a moment and say thank you to Medals of America in Fountain Inn, South Carolina, for generously providing all of the badges, medals, patches, and insignia that you see. They take good care of us, and if you need any military insignia, I recommend you try them. Thank you. Before we go over and look at the medals of World War II, we need to take a little sidebar and define the different types of medals. There are 3 types, basically. There are decorations that are presented for valor and for meritorious service, which normally come in the shape of a star, like the Silver Star or the Bronze Star, or the Air Medal, or the Commendation Medal. And then there's service medals, which normally are like the Army Good Conduct Medal, the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, and then the American Defense Medal, the European Theater of Operations Medal, and the Occupation Medal for Germany. They are all circular with few exceptions, as always a few exceptions. And then the 3rd type of award is what's called a unit award, which usually comes in the form of a ribbon wrapped with a gold frame around it, and it's presented for valor or meritorious service for a unit, normally a battalion size or perhaps brigade. The easiest way to talk you through the campaign and service medals of World War II is to show you an example. And this is a pretty good example of a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division who went in at D-Day. So let me take this apart, it'll be a little easier to show you. I want to start with the Good Conduct Medal, because there were 5 branches during World War II. We think of it as 5 branches now, but actually the Army Air Force was in the Army. So there was no independent Air Force until 1947. So when I talk Army Air Force or Air Force, they're also using Army medals. Army Good Conduct Medal is shown here. Taking a look now, the first medal that you see is the Bronze Star. In this case, that was awarded in 1947 for meritorious service to every one of the combat infantrymen who were awarded the Combat Infantry Badge or the Combat Medics Badge. And that's why it's not a medal that you saw on the guy's chest when he came home. I'm going to skip over the Purple Heart. It seems like most of the guys in the 82nd and the 101st and the 90th Division all got the Purple Heart. And then get to the American Campaign Medal. When the war started in 1941, the War Department divided the world into 3 very distinct campaign areas. There was the American Theater, which included North America and Latin America. Then there was the Pacific Theater that picked up from Hawaii on, and it included Alaska. And then there was a European theater that started with the European continent, Africa, and the Middle East. And there was a medal for each one. Normally, service of 30 days or more in that campaign area qualified you for the medal. So this is the American Campaign Medal, and it shows a sinking German submarine with a Navy cruiser in the background and a B-24 Liberator on the front. On the back is an American eagle sitting on a rock. It shows defiance and strength. The next medal is the European Theater of Operation Medal, and that shows soldiers landing in combat at Normandy and with aircraft in the background. The colors are green to indicate Europe, the American colors, and then the colors of Germany, white and black over on one side of the ribbon. This particular medal also shows both a star for one battle campaign and an arrowhead to indicate that he was in an invasion. The next medal is the Victory Medal, and that was authorized from 1941 to 1946 with just 30 days service. And the final medal is one that a lot of veterans never knew they earned, but that's the Occupation Medal. In this particular case, it shows for Germany with a relief of the Remagen Bridge going over the Rhine on the front of the medal. And it was awarded for 30 days in Austria, Germany, Berlin, or any of the European areas that we were occupying. Most guys qualified for it because they didn't get to come home right away, and they stayed there 30 to 60 to 90 days until transportation, or they had enough points accumulated to return home. So this is what you would call the basic load of a World War II veteran: a Good Conduct Medal, a American Theater Medal, since they spent probably up to a year training in America, and in this case, the European Theater of Operations Medal and the Victory Medal, and most probably, as we'd say in the Deep South, Occupation Medal. He's also been awarded a Presidential Unit Citation as a unit medal, and in this case, the French Fourragère, which is a rope that goes on your shoulder that indicates his unit received the French Croix de Guerre. A special favor, please. If you enjoy these shows, please give us a like, and even better, subscribe. It'll keep us on the air. Okay, thank you. I'd like to show you two specific examples of World War II veterans' displays that reflects their service in the European theater. Veteran of the 1st Infantry Division who also served under Patton's 3rd Army. The Combat Infantryman's badge is at the top of his award display, and that means that he is authorized the Bronze Star for Meritorious Service. He's also been awarded a Purple Heart. He has the Good Conduct Medal. He has the European, Middle East, and African Campaign Medal, the Victory Medal on the 2nd row. He has the Occupation Medal showing the bridge at Remagen. He's been awarded the French Croix de Guerre, or Cross of War, and he has commemorative medal that sort of finishes out his display, as well as his honorable discharge badge, his 2 shooting badges, and a brass plate that describes his time during the service. I'll wrap up with one more example, and this is a very nice one of an artillery captain who served in the 1st Infantry Division and also in Patton's 3rd Army. You can see he has his hat brass, his cross cannons, his railroad tracks, or captain's bars up above his medals and ribbons. And on starting with the left is a Bronze Star, his American Campaign Medal, his ETO, or Europe Middle East Campaign Medal, his Victory Medal, his Occupation Medal, and his French Cross of War. The French were pretty good about trying to award that when someone really earned it. The 2 gold bars in the lower right-hand corner, each gold bar stood for 6 months in combat. So this is a very nice example of what a World War II veteran should have had when he came home, but probably never received. If you want to know more about United States Army medals, badges, and insignia from the Revolution to today, we've been publishing these books for over 30 years. And this is our latest edition. It's available for you on Amazon, but it could be in your house in 2 or 3 days.